Fires have become a grimly familiar sight in the Amazon over recent years, driven largely by the clearance of land for cattle pasture. This year, the deforestation is on course to be even worse than last year, when more than 10,000 square kilometres of rainforest were lost. The trend has sparked international concern about the outlook for one of the world's most vital carbon sinks.
Uru-Eu-Wau is in the middle of burning 24 hectares of rainforest to clear space for pasture. Cattle farming is the biggest driver of deforestation in the Amazon, but Uru-Eu-Wau says it's his best hope of getting ahead in life.
Aqui na nossa região, não tem uma outra forma de renda. Então a maioria das pessoas opta criar gado, abrir novas áreas. As pessoas falam, mas tá queimando e tudo, mas todos os anos isso vem acontecendo, não é de hoje nem de ontem.
Since 1970, about 20% of the Brazilian Amazon has been destroyed, and the pace has picked up over the past 2 years under right-wing President Jair Bolsonaro, who has called for greater economic exploitation of the region. Climate scientists warn this risks pushing the world's biggest rainforest into a death spiral, as the loss of moisture from deforested areas causes other parts of the forest to die off.
We are really very, very close to the edge of this cliff. If we do not stop deforestation, restore forests in deforested areas, and also reach the Paris Accord targets of not letting the global temperature exceed 2 degrees, if we fail in all those things, the Amazon will exceed the tipping point, and perhaps 60 to 70% of the Amazon will become a degraded tropical savanna within 30 to 50 years.
Like indigenous groups all over the Amazon, the Uru-Eu-Wau-Wau have been locked in a long-running struggle with illegal invaders of their land. And as you can see from the bullet holes in the sign behind me, the struggle here has taken on a particularly ugly form.
Awapu is the leader of a group of young Uru-Eu-Wau-Wau who have started patrolling their reserve in pursuit of the men illegally deforesting it. They have destroyed the invaders' camps and captured several of them. Awapu has received repeated death threats over his work protecting the forest. His brother-in-law, Ari, another senior member of the Guardian group, was stabbed to death in April after being ambushed outside the reserve. After they were brought into contact with the rest of Brazil about 40 years ago, most of Awapu's people died from violence and disease, and they now number less than 100. Awapu says they're struggling to cope with the assault on their land, driven by the growth of the local cattle industry.
Eu tenho a desconfiança que pode acontecer a qualquer momento, então é alguma coisa comigo, porque, por exemplo, vocês estão vendo eu hoje, talvez amanhã não pode ver eu mais.
Some cattle farmers in the Amazon feel they've been unfairly demonized. Valdeni cleared over 400 hectares of land for this cattle ranch, where he lives with his wife and 3 children. The Environmental Enforcement Agency has charged him with environmental crimes and fined him about $300,000, which Valdeni says he doesn't have. He argues that foreign criticism of Brazil's environmental record is hypocritical.
A maior parte dessas pessoas que nos critica por nós derrubar pedaço de terra para trazer o sustento para a minha mesa, eles não observam que esse sustento vem para a mesa deles também.
Valdeni's argument reflects a problem that's causing headaches for some of the most powerful companies in Brazil. The country's world-leading beef exporters are facing allegations that cattle raised on illegally deforested Amazon land have got into their slaughterhouses and then into the stomachs of consumers all over the world.
Every day about 1,500 cattle are slaughtered and processed here at this factory near the town of Diamantino in western Brazil. It's one of more than 30 factories in this country run by JBS, the world's biggest meat company, and the main reason why Brazil exports more beef than any other country.
At JBS's headquarters in Sao Paulo, it already has a high-tech system using satellite imagery to spot any deforestation by its immediate suppliers. But cattle often pass through several farms during their lifetime, and in this intensely competitive market, farmers are unwilling to share full details of their own purchases. JBS has now announced a new system based on blockchain encryption, allowing it to verify that a farmer's supply chain is clean without seeing any of his sensitive business information.
For many years we could evaluate the farm conditions of our direct suppliers, and now we have a new strategy to cover all the links in our supply chain.
But for many of the Amazon's surviving indigenous people, the beef industry still looks like a severe threat. Rubens is the chief of the Paiter-Suruí, who have been dealing with invasions of their rainforest reserve for decades. He says local cattle farmers have divided his community by bribing some members of the tribe to help them take over pieces of land for pasture.
Esses gados aqui é de uma pessoa que não é indígena, então são de fazendeiros e grileiros que estão fazendo desmatamento do território dentro da terra indígena e criando seus gados dentro do território indígena. É muito difícil quando se vive pressionado dentro do seu próprio território.
Young members of the Paiter-Suruí are using a drone to monitor illegal encroachment and collect evidence, but the pressure on their community shows no sign of ending.
Eu não vou dizer que eles não podem comer carne, mas se tiver criando consciência de que a gente precisa entender da origem do produto, né, já é um caminho muito avançado, né? Assim a gente vai ensinar empresas que produzem carne, como a JBS e outros, que nós consumidores querem que a produção deles seja responsável,